Nice intro.
Hey guys, how you doing? This is just going to be a quick low effort video. Just want to make about something that just recently happened. So CD Projekt RED was hacked and they released a letter this morning just describing the situation, and it reads like this. Yesterday we discovered that we have become a victim of a targeted cyber attack, due to which some of our internal systems have been compromised. An unidentified actor gained unauthorized access to our internal network, collected certain data belonging to CD Projekt Capital Group, and left a ransom note, the content of which we released to the public. Although some devices in our network have been encrypted, our backups remain intact. We have already secured our IT infrastructure and began restoring the data. We will not give in to demands nor negotiate with the actor, being aware that this may eventually lead to the release of the compromised data. We are taking necessary steps to mitigate the consequences of such a release, in particular by approaching any parties that may be affected due to the breach. We are still investigating the incident, however, at this time we can confirm that, to our best knowledge, the compromised systems did not contain any personal data of our players or users of our services. We have already approached the relevant authorities, including law enforcement and the President of the Personal Data Protection Office, as well as IT forensic specialists, and we will closely cooperate with them in order to fully investigate this incident. So as this plainly scores it, they were hacked. Luckily no user data got out, but apparently a lot of internal information got out, and this is the ransom note that was left. Hello CD Projekt. You have been epically pwned rather. It's amazing when a 10-year-old can hack a company. We have dumped full copies of the source codes from your P4 server for Cyberpunk 2077, Witcher 3, Gwent, and unreleased version of Witcher 3. We have also dumped all of your documents relating to accounting, administration, legal, HR, investor relations, and more. Goes on to talk about the server backups and encrypting stuff. If we will not come to an agreement, then your source codes will be sold or leaked online, and your documents will be sent to our contacts in gaming journalism.
Video game journalism?
First of all, if any gaming journalist takes this, they are dog shit and should never be looked at with any degree of respect. Your public image will go down the shitter even more, and people will see how shitty your company functions. Investors will lose trust in your company, and the stock will drive even lower. You have 48 hours to contact us. So, that's the thing that's happened. The thing that gets me most about this, or the thing that I find most annoying, is the reaction by people to somehow think that this is warranted and that somehow CD Projekt RED deserved this, which only can lead me to think that the people making the angry comments are either very, very young people or very naive people, and I'll explain why. Having played video games for however long, have you ever seen an E3 presentation? All of them lie. It's called marketing. Everyone's gonna end up lying. It's not anything new, and maybe lying isn't the right word, but overestimating, and although definitely some lying, it's to be expected at this point, unfortunately. And when you consider, for example, the past 9-10 years of gaming, where it's been riddled with things like microtransactions or illegal mini gambling games woven into bigger video games in order to generate or leech money from the consumer, it was nice to have a company like CD Projekt RED who would give you the entirety of the game, which is unfortunately a rare case, and where the DLC that they provided was, I felt anyway, worth way more than was charged for it. I still remember that DLC being absolutely amazing and me being so baffled at why it was that cheap. And these guys were kind of like the last, not the last, because there are other game companies, don't get me wrong, but one of the last bastion of AAA title games that actually gave a shit about the consumer. But it seems when gamers act this entitled and start shitting on companies just because of a bad release or some, maybe not so great decisions, it makes me think of, well, what kind of companies are going to be left. I mean, what do people want? The gaming scene to be run by EA, Ubisoft, companies like that, Bethesda, where you're going to only receive a fifth of the game, but don't worry guys, with different gambling microtransactions and optional, quote-unquote optional DLC that technically you'll have to buy to understand the story and what the fuck happened. But hey, don't worry kids, because if Ma and Pa's wallet is big enough, you'll have a great time. I mean, shit, I still haven't completed Skyrim, and that's a over 9-year-old game. Reason I haven't completed it is because there's game-breaking bugs in there that don't allow me to pass. It's been age. I've tried about 3-4 times, and every time something will come up. And what did Bethesda decide to do about that? Well, the modders managed to fix a few things. Bethesda took that, reorganized them, slapped a new logo on it, and then they sold it as their own thing. So then sold people's mods as their own DLC content that you had to pay for, with extra microtransactions, and people just for some reason let them get away with it until Fallout 76. But it's that kind of letting these companies get away with that bullshit that then leads them to think, oh yeah, we'll make shit games like Fallout 76 and people will just buy it. They bought Fallout 4, no one saw an issue with that. That was a great game according to them. It's just absolute garbage. There were comments I saw on the post of people wishing for the demise of CD Projekt RED because they made their workers work through crunch, which is, I get, bad crunch is always a bad thing, but you want a company to go out of business so all these people lose their jobs in a time when they desperately need their jobs in order to help them in some way. I'm not sure, like, part of me thinks, hey, this is just Twitter bullshit. Every time there's a big deal like this, there's always Twitter bullshit. This just might be part of it. But you start to see it more and more where, certain companies get let off because God knows why. But then the media will attack one company and hitch to one company that has otherwise, had a good record or try to do the decent thing. I mean, Bethesda comes out with bullshit. They don't give you refunds, they don't give you anything, they're just cool, deal with it. And then they get a bit of coverage, then it goes away. I mean, Hello Games releases, Ubisoft releases, not one of them offered proper refunds or anything like that. But when CD Projekt RED, which I guess marketing wise they made a mistake and they shouldn't have been a decent company, because they attracted more attention to themselves. But when they offered, full refunds no matter how far into the game you go or whatever, people went crazy over it. Oh, this must be terrible because this company's being decent. It's just, and I'll be honest, my view is kind of biased, especially when it comes to the Cyberpunk stuff. I played it on PC. I had a great experience. I thought it was a brilliant game. I'm sorry to say, but yeah, I understand that people that played it on last gen consoles had a bad time. They shouldn't have released it on last gen consoles as far as I'm concerned. Should have just been next gen only. Leave it at that. But hey, this has just been a ramble. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. have a good one, I guess.